Hey folks, MasakoX here. Yes, I know what you're going to say. Masako, you said you wouldn't do any further parts of this story. Oh, I bet you're only doing this to get more views because it was popular. How dare you make content that is popular with the audience? For shame. Yes, I did say that. And yes, that's why I'm doing it. Because I like you folks and you wanted to see more of this, so why not? That and Barakaphobic on the subreddit came in clutch again with this amazing design of Kakarot Red Son, derived from Superman Red Sun, which by the way I haven't read, and so it was just too cool to ignore. Thusly, I felt that we might be able to at least provide some further context to try and wrap up this story, where Android 21, or the human iteration of her prior to becoming an android, raised Kakarot from when he first arrived on Earth to now, under the care of the Red Ribbon Army, where things have gone tango uniform for Earth and now things are starting to get even worse. In the first part of this story, we had wanted to answer the question of what Red Ribbon's influence would mean for the likes of Goku, now named Jasper, after the precious material, like how we call 21 Hema after hematite, so he wouldn't have to keep calling her the female researcher over and over again. With her around, it would prevent Gero from poking and prodding the alien infant for the rest of its natural life, and thusly proved to be of greater use for the Red Ribbon contingent, as a super soldier, and a potential mascot for the company, and could be of great import when it comes to public relations and their pursuit of the Dragon Balls. Oh yes, and them dominating over the likes of Capsule Corp, but that goes without saying. This arrangement worked rather well, and Gero was promptly forced out of his digs in the main HQ and fled to his sub-lab deep in the caverns outside North City to work on his toys, when it became clear that Hema had basically subverted him. And that actually proved to be vital though, because when Raditz showed up and utterly wasted Jasper and his adopted brother Gebo, Earth quickly went to ruin, and under the control of Frieza's Planet Trade Organization. Hema had no choice but to seek sanctuary with the father of her precious Gebo, the only person she could turn to right now. But it had been something she hoped she'd never have to resort to. But Gero was willing to listen. How would they be able to push Frieza back? Well, let's resume. And if you like this idea, why don't you like this video, subscribe for more, and maybe perhaps leave a cheeky super thanks if you can? Thank you. And by the way, we're going to keep this to 3 parts, so Part 3 out soon. Expanding upon her plea to Gero for help, the old man was indeed willing to hear Hema out. And despite their disagreements when figuring out Jasper's fate and her backstabbing him with Commander Red in the room, Gero didn't just cast her out and leave her to her doom. Instead, he had a plan involving her, that could send that Frieza force packing. But she was confused though. Why are you doing all this? After I betrayed you and forced you to work in a cave, Gero said with mild contempt. Yes, I was mad with you and the boy for a long time. Hema's eyes perked slightly. That had been the first time Gero had referred to Jasper as anything other than an object or a thing that you might accidentally step on. But this self-imposed exile proved to be for the best. I am still here, whereas the Red Ribbon Army as a whole is but a shell of its former self. Now playing nice with that alien freak. You remember my original modus operandi, don't you, Hema? Hema nodded. Yes. To usher in a new dawn for humanity. I do not wish for it to be snuffed out. That is why I took precautions. Ones that originally go against my own principles, but I felt were necessary. Gero walked over to a safe deposit box hidden underneath the tiled floor of his lab and opened it. Hema gasped. You had them? We thought them lost. We hadn't seen them in years. Gero sighed. I know how to get around their locator, but I am not proud of being this underhanded. But Commander Red would have wasted the wish on something frivolous, no doubt. Or in a manner that would have proved utterly useless in any cause. Hema looked angry though instead of pleased. You had them? Locked away in a box? When they could have been used to help the planet? Are you insane? What good is this gonna do us, huh? Earth is already subjugated! Would you shut up and listen to me, woman? Hema did so and recoiled. There was the old curmudgeon again. Gero continued, clearing his throat. I've been watching you and Jasper. Hema was even more shocked. Now he called him by name. I was wrong to view him as nothing but a specimen. Even though the commander over-egged his value, he did prove to be effective in the end, and did indeed prosper as his own person. It saddened me when I watched him burn at that alien's hand.
Wait, you watched it? How?
Gero turned on a monitor, which was broadcasting a live feed of Frieza's minions scouring the planet, Zarbon and Dodoria making a little cameo in it, who were busy overseeing the grunts ferrying humans to camps. Drones, you see, smaller than most insects, and disguised like them too. Ever since I was cast out here, I made them to keep abreast of what the army was up to, and for the purpose of collecting information for my own projects. Hema looked sternly at the doctor.
Great. In your paranoid state, you made some bugs to spy on people and hoarded Earth's greatest treasure for yourself. What's your point?
My point is, Hema, I wish to use them to bring back Jasper.
What? Bring him back? Can they do that?
Hema blinked in awe at the balls. I don't see why not. It's worth a try anyway.
Hema's eyes were shimmering with tears now. You do that for me? What about Gebo? Might it work on him too?
Gero blushed. Yes, we could try and bring him back too. Hema smiled.
Gero, I know how hard this must be for you to say and do. Thank you. It means a lot.
Gero scoffed but smiled back. Think me not a callous old fool, Hema. Now let's get this done.
With that, the pair took to the elevator to the top of the lab, which spat them out onto the peak of some cliffs. They placed the Dragon Balls on the ground and summoned Shenron. The sky turned black, but the Frieza Force didn't come after them. They had no ideas of the Dragon Balls yet, you see, since Jasper never mentioned them to Raditz, and they never found out about them hence. The dragon loomed over them and asked for their wish. You do the honors, Hema. Bring back our boys. Hema was absolutely wrought with emotion right now, but did as she was told, and the dragon carried out the wish. Instantly, both Jasper and Gebo appeared before them, underneath the light of the dragon. The dragon bade them farewell, and the balls scattered around the world, the sky returning to its typical shade of blue. The two men approached Gero and Hema. Jasper was astonished. How am I here? That alien freak wasted me and... He spotted Gero and flinched. Despite being far more powerful and taller than the old man, he feared that same person for how he was treated back as an infant. He could remember those times when he was viewed as an experiment, and it brought him so much pain. Gebo put a hand on his brother's shoulder. It's okay, Jasper. They then spotted Hema, and the younger relaxed. The three of them then embraced, and Hema was so thrilled to see her two sons alive again, thanking the dragon for its bountiful gift. But then it dawned on her. Wait, will the Dragon Balls fall into the hands of the Frieza Force? They controlled Red Ribbon's facilities, and in turn, the Dragon Ball locator. That is true. But for now, we have ignorance on our side, as well as time. They do not know how to work it, what it is, and what it can be used for, but that won't last. We have about 1 year or so before the balls return to life and are trackable. We must get to work. Jasper, come here, boy. Jasper was nervous, but approached the doctor. The doctor outstretched his hand. I am deeply regretful of my actions when you were but a child. I hope we can look past this and work together from now on. Jasper was still hesitant, but looked to his mother and saw her nod, as in to trust him. Jasper then tentatively shook Gero's hand. Gero smiled, but then put his game face back on. What has happened, Mother? Why are we here? Hema then informed her sons about what had gone down since Raditz arrived on Earth and wasted them, and how things had since fallen apart, how the army fell to pieces. We're the only ones left not under the thumb of Frieza. It's up to us now to stop Earth from being swallowed up by his filthy organization, she said with the most serious of tones. Gero then stepped in and posed his side of the plan, to transform the three of them into cybernetic warriors, augmented with his technology, what he had been working on, that could perhaps win over the likes of Frieza. I have watched you all from the shadows, and whilst it's too late for me, I feel that the three of you might be worthy holders of the fruits of my labors. Are you willing to take the risk? It won't be a painless experience,
but it should provide you the tools needed to stop that madman.
Gero and Jasper looked to each other and agreed. Hema too elected to go with the plan. Gero knew that she was a hardy woman. She would fight alongside her children. After all, she fought for their lives before. What would stop her now?
Nothing, that's what.
With them retreating back into the depths of the lab, the preparations began. With the intel gathered by Gero's drones, them having been left unseen thanks to their small and inconspicuous nature, the operations began to convert Hema, Jasper and Gero into cyborgs, artificial humans. The conversion took months. The trio's minds were placed in a stasis-like state whilst their bodies were being worked on. Gero watched over them throughout that entire time, alone. He never stopped. He never tired. He was determined to make this trio the greatest creations he had ever produced. He would make sure Earth would once again be free, and that they may prosper under his technological prowess. 1 year later, whilst Gero was conducting tests on Jasper's new arms, he heard a voice in his head.
Hello, Gero. I come in peace.
Gero fell off his chair and thought that he had gone mad with the precious and arduous nature of the task.
What is the meaning of this? Show yourself! I cannot. I am but a voice to you now. But I wish to contact you. You see, I am the guardian of this planet.
It was Kami, but Gero regained his rationale and scoffed.
Guardian? Some guardian you are if you left this planet to its doom.
Kami sighed.
Alas, you are right. There was little I could do at the hands of Frieza and his men. I am only grateful that they had yet to find where I am located. But that is beside the point. I wish to provide assistance. There is a chamber here that could help you with your experiments. Not interested, said Gero with the tersest of responses. I've done everything myself up to this point, and I do not need the help of a failed deity who may as well be a figment of my imagination. Who do you think created the Dragon Balls?
Said Kami with a stern rebuttal. Gero paused. That got his attention. This thing knew about the Dragon Balls.
That is not the only reason I have contacted you. I am here to warn you that the Dragon Balls are active once more, and the Force has figured out what your locator can do. We are running out of time.
Gero had to process this and make a decision. It was now or never. He had to wake them up.
Fine. Where are you located?
Kami projected the locale of his abode into the doctor's mind. It was time to act. Not long after that, Gero began the procedure to wake up his new cyborg family. He had placed them in the pods that we are accustomed to, which would help them awaken and start it all. After an hour, the pods hissed open, and out stepped, fully mobile, Jasper, Gero, and Hema. At first, they felt nothing different, that nothing had happened to them, but Jasper looked to his arm. It was covered in small sensors. Gero then noticed his wrists had lines around them, his rocket punch. And Hema felt her head, and it was a lot heavier than before, like her brain had been enhanced or something. They were now more machine than man, but they could recall the reason why they did this and were focused. Gero asked them if all was well with them, and they replied that nothing amiss seemed to be occurring.
Good. You're going to go on a little excursion to this location.
He pinged the location into their craniums, and it was the lookout.
A fellow called Kami will greet you there and provide you aid.
Hema blinked. Aren't you coming with us?
Certainly not. What good would I be? Besides, I prefer to remain here, as I have before. If things should go wrong, I must be able to regroup and rebuild. Try again.
Gero was nervous.
Go wrong? You mean this could go wrong? Of course it can, boy. No experiment is 100% reliable. Now go! Frieza's forces are in the knowledge of the Dragon Ball locator. There's little time to chit-chat.
Hema vowed to not let Gero down, and the three of them set off for the heavens. Fortunately for them, since they were now based around android technology, the scoundrels of the Frieza Force couldn't locate them or sense them. But they had internal radar so they could track them. By being able to dart around the scouts, they flew under their own power, which took them some getting used to, and arrived on the lookout. Kami welcomed them and told them of the Room of Spirit and Time, a place where they could acclimatize to their new figures.
The doctor told me of how you operate. I have undertaken measures to ensure all three of you can go inside at the same time. But you'll only have 6 months instead of my Ideal 12 months. Make use of it. The three of them agreed, and went inside to adjust to their new tech. 12 hours, or 6 months for them. That's what they had left to save the world. But that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now, and we shall be definitely wrapping things up next time out. But what did you folks think? Did you feel this was a good way to go about things? Would you want me to add some more details to the finale? You could maybe perhaps check out the Boxer What If here for some inspiration. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!